I now wanted to get into more skin specific discussion. And I also know one more reason that you're here on the podcast, as against any other Ayurveda specialist, is because you focus so much on skin. Do you specialize in skin, right?
Especially allergies with skin.
So lovely. So there are certain things in English medicine is very difficult to say cure. We keep it under control, but there is no cure, such as maybe atopic dermatitis, maybe psoriasis. All of these are issues which is very difficult for us to cure. So I would love to see what Ayurveda tells about each one of this. Allergy, especially like you said, is on the rise. There is so much pollution now. Particle in your air is so much more. So there is sensitization of the skin. So there is, so much more of allergies that are happening. So I'd like to understand from Ayurveda, how do you go about treating allergies?
First, we need to understand to what severity is the allergy. Sometimes when the severe, today we have a polarized world. Like, I only use Samsung, no, I won't like Apple. And there are people like, I only like Nikon, I don't like Canon. Same way, there are people like, I will not use Ayurveda, or I will only use herbs, I won't use any steroids or something. So we have this polarized world. The polarized people are one of the difficult patients to deal with. And I have a hard time explaining to them what works best for you at one particular time. So when the allergy is really bad, at that time I tell, please, now you need a symptomatic relief. They have to have a symptomatic. Sometimes an Allegra or Avil might be required. So I tell them, go to an allopathic doctor and get this, and you come back when it is subsided. Now let's see how we can minimize the tendency of this recurrence. So that's where my expertise comes. So if you look at allergies, so let's take urticaria. They have this hives that comes the moment they get exposed to heat or change of seasons. Like in Ayurveda, we have this word Shita Pittam. Shita is cold and Pitta is like hot. It's a word given to this disease. It's like you have a boiling pan where you make the dosa, and suddenly you put few drops of cold water, suddenly it just booms. And that's exactly how it happens in your body. So if you look at the evolution of that disease, it starts with Viruddhahara. Viruddhahara means when I consume incompatible foods over a longer period of time. This is the cause for this, and there's no one single cause. It's always a combination. So if I have a tendency of eating incompatible foods for a very long period, then on top of that, if I sleep very late at night, so these are mentioned in the
So
text.
all your teenagers, listen, sleeping very late at night can actually cause serious issues. Yeah, so even the Ayurveda believes in it, causes serious issues like allergy, and I'm sure many more. This Viruddhahara is a very beautiful word. How do you know what is compatible? Can you just name a few commonly compatible and incompatible food which happens in our daily thing? I remember someone telling me don't eat fish and curd.
Those are certain things that you see, like fish and curd, milk, and some certain fruits. Like if
Milk
it's
and fruit not to have.
certain fruits, especially if it's citric in nature.
So you're saying when you do a milkshake and have, there's only certain fruit that you can combine with milk.
So if I put lemon in milk,
It's spoiled.
it's not
anyways.
going
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
combine well.
Yeah.
See, the best example you can say, we segregate everything in life.
Hmm.
We put dry waste, wet waste, electronic waste.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our gut, we think everything you can just put inside and the gut will
That
manage
has to
it.
do it. Huh.
So you also need to learn to segregate it in a proper manner. Certain foods which are perishable, you put it in a certain way and then you wait and then you put the next certain things. So incompatible foods are when you combine foods, when both of them go together. So let's say I know patients who have skin problems, and when I ask them, do you take any cold smoothies, which is, so what they do, they take the whey protein in cold milk and they add a lot of bananas and they put peanut butter.
Yeah, this is the most famous combination,
Yes.
isn't it?
See, by nature, it need not create problems. But let's say I have a very weak, sluggish digestion. And that's the only thing I'm drinking first thing in the morning. And somewhere my digestion becomes poor and I'm not sleeping well. And over time, this could lead to other skin health problems. So it's not like it is for everyone. Nobody should use this. For certain people, you could ask every allergy patients. I go in detail about their eating habits and their emotional health. So usually these two combine together, and suddenly one fine day, aha, the skin is it's like a GPS telling you need to take a U-turn. It's like telling you what is wrong with your life, what is wrong with your food, what is wrong with your thinking, how you're coping with your life. And skin is like the worst. How can it happen on my skin? People question, but why me? They come with their existential questions when they get the skin problems. I'm sure you see this.
Like, it's beautiful that you said skin is like a GPS.
Yes.
I keep saying skin is like a diagnostic tool in your body, which is visible to us. A quick diagnosis, quick take a look at into your body. Is skin what it tells everything? So, likewise, when patients come to me with allergies, so beautifully you explain about how emotions are so important. A lot of times it's that pent up emotions, it's the mind, it's the gut, all of that. So, there's a gut skin axis, there is a brain skin axis. So, there's an axis from everywhere connecting to your skin, and skin is the one which is expressing it.
Yeah, you blush.
Yeah, yeah, you blush. So skin is the one which is expressing
Exactly.
it. So true. So come again and please tell me, what are the most important common food mistakes in terms of going together and which should not?
Like milk is quite heavy to digest. Even though in Ayurveda, milk is highly recommended and promoted. Like, like, uh,
Even for an adult?
like I've seen so many patients, especially from northern India, or if you grew up with drinking milk. This is some people. It is considered to be a great rejuvenator. It's like a rasayana. But I've seen patients, especially Indians, when they go abroad, especially to US or other countries, where you can store the milk for more than a month in the fridge. I've seen that milk has a lot of allergy tendencies. So that's when, uh, see, the milk that we get our home, the shelf life is close to 6 to 12 hours. And then you have to turn it around to curd. But when you go abroad, you get that milk that you can store it for almost a month. So this is my observation. When people consume those kind of milk, they tend to have lactose intolerance and allergies related with lactose. But if you are growing up with this kind of milk, it's fine. You're just adding few drops of milk with your coffee. It actually helps to minimize the dryness the coffee can produce. Or some people, when they drink milk at night, they have a good sleep. So it is again a case to case. In some people, when they have tendencies of skin allergies, eczema, urticaria, running nose constantly that comes, or bronchitis, too much of mucus problems, including psoriasis, I tell them, maybe can we give it a try without milk for 3 months? Let's just understand. I don't tell them, oh, some people are like, oh, I can't drink milk. So I tell them, let's just give it for 3 months. Maybe we can revise it after that. And then some people say, okay, now I feel much better. Maybe I don't want to go back to milk. Maybe I'll just take skimmed milk. Maybe it can help. So, can I take buttermilk? Yes, buttermilk is fine because the lactose part is much minimized. So, in these aspects, milk, and along with that, a lot of other certain kind of food and fruits, this can create a problem. And
So milk with certain fruit you're saying not to have.
yes, but I've seen patients who have milk and banana and they're fine. But maybe they have a fantastic digestion, robust digestion. They do a lot of good physical workout. Their metabolism is fantastic. See, the word for immunity in Ayurveda is called Vyadik Shamatvam. And Vyadik Shamatvam, if I have to translate in a layman's language, it's like your tolerance to unhealthy stuff. If my health is good, means I can tolerate a lot of. So if my emotionally resilient, I can deal with a lot more toxic people and still it won't impact me. But if emotionally I'm quite sensitive, soon I get triggered and I can overreact. And this is what allergy is. Allergy is somewhere and in fact some people, I tell them, if you have allergy, great, your body is giving you the best feedback. You can't deal with it. I know a patient who comes and tells me, doctor, I just can't have alcohol. I have an immediate urticaria reaction after that. Fantastic, you're blessed. You don't have to decide about this. Oh, should I drink, should I not drink? And it doesn't have to go to Alcoholic Anonymous and I'm not saying disrespectful to anything, but sometimes allergies is like a blessing in disgrace. Like what is not helping them, they can. And if you look at all the allergic foods that when you go to a restaurant, especially in Europe, are you having any allergies? And you will see peanuts, hazelnut, milk, a lot of lists that comes. And if you look at it from an Ayurvedic lens, these are quite heavy to digest. Heavy to digest, it's quite the body need not digest it so easily.
Like a sticky food, like you said.
For example, when I say sticky food in Ayurveda, we have the term pichila and guru. It means it takes a little longer for you to digest. It can make you feel heavy after that, or you feel sluggish after that. So the same pattern, whenever you consume food that are very heavy and sticky for a very long period, and then your stress levels are not managed well, your sleep system goes out of control, and then you don't have a good inner hygiene, and you get exposed to certain toxins. Sometimes I have seen, when we do, like in Ayurveda, we have this concept called dushi visha. Dushi visha means it's like a toxin by nature. It's not going to kill you. Like, it's a poison that is not going to kill you, but it is slowly compound. It's like slow poison. And then every time it gets triggered, suddenly that flare up happens. So our work is to bring down that toxicity. So, like, I've seen patients, they say, I'm feeling very tired and I am having very dry skin and I feel brain fog. Okay, where do you live? I live in Singapore. Okay, what's your most food? I eat a lot of seafood. Okay, we do the blood test. The mercury levels are very high, and that can also lead to that. So we have to tell them, okay, maybe you have to avoid seafood and go for freshwater fish.